Welcome back, everyone. This is the DomainSherpa Review After Show, where we discuss anything on the minds of our panel. The portfolio, news in the industry, recent deals, questions submitted that haven't been answered on previous shows. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start off with a question that Rick has already talked about. It has to do with hyphens. It was submitted by Jonathan Grant, who I believe we reviewed his portfolio last week. He had a question. Is the hyphen between keywords still worth skipping? I asked because cvlibrary.co.uk redirects to cv-library.co.uk, and the site brands their business with the hyphen, and it seems odd to him. Rick, you said during the show that you still think great domain names that are reserved already are worth considering registering with a hyphen between the words.
Yeah, between the letters. I know early on I registered a number of domains with either hyphens between letters of just a very short couple of letters or of a couple of words. When I would go and, whatever very, very, very popular phrase would be with, let's say, a noun and a verb or an adjective, and all the extensions are taken, and it's really good. Well, I just think it may have more value to try to grab the hyphen than either not being in that game at all or settling for some garbage that most of the domainers settle for. I mean, if you're going to get garbage anyhow, maybe you should just get a better domain with a hyphen in it, because it's probably better than the garbage you're buying, because that's what we were talking about, is the garbage in these portfolios, and that's kind of what led to it, is, the names don't mean anything. Well, if it doesn't mean anything, aren't you better to get the real phrase maybe with the hyphen than the phrase that no one ever said out of 7 billion people before? And I know when once in a while when I've seen hyphens on billboards, they look terrific, and I've seen hyphens on moving vans and things like that, and it looks good. So I just think in what's coming to us with all these new GTLDs, remember, everything's going to shift a little bit. That's why I wrote an article about maybe .NET could actually have a second run at it, because all of a sudden, maybe they won't have such an identity crisis. We don't know exactly what's coming with this, so I always try to keep my options open of what could be valuable down the road, depending on how things unfold.
So is that just for hand-registered names that you would? Oh,
yeah.
So let's say you were coming into the industry new today, and you went to Whois and you looked up homeloans.com. You're like, oh, somebody's taking it. So you would look up home-loans.com, and if you could hand register, you'd take it.
And believe me, it's not available. Okay, here, let's do that one. Available or not available? I guarantee you, it's not available. Okay, but that's a perfect example. Okay, home-loans, because it's such a goddamn good domain name to begin with. The root one, homeloans.com, that you can afford to put a dash in it, for Christ's sakes. I mean, man, give me that before you give me anything else. I'll take it. Now, like I said, a lot of people won't agree with it, but to me, it's a no-brainer. It's just, what's so bad about the hyphen?
Let's just throw out a number. If homeloans.com was worth $1 million, I'm not sure if it's worth 10, 100 million, whatever. Let's just say it was worth $1 million. How much would home-loans.com be worth?
It would probably pay for itself in traffic, and you could still ask 2 to 10,000.
And you still have the benefit of the future where it could become a very high demanded domain name.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, is A, it pays for itself now, and B, it's better than cashfollow.com. Get cash.flow.com or follow the dash money.com. At least it means something. At least it could have some value to somebody because it's recognizable compared to garbage that means nothing to nobody.
Who disagrees?
I'm not big on them. I think there's certain words that actually, that the hyphen is a natural part of the word. For example, maybe like G-spot. All right, so G-spot, really, the hyphen should be there. So, those things, I think, obviously that would be sometimes even the better choice than the one without the hyphen. But generally, just taking two words, putting a hyphen in between them, yes, potentially you could have traffic, but I don't know. I think with all the new GTLDs coming in and all the verticals, I think there's going to be better opportunities there than doing hyphens.
Hey, I just, while we were talking, I took the time and I registered one-ski-quiver.com. What's so funny?
Nothing. Rick just recommended doing that.
I mean, come on, guys. Anyway, Rick, how many of those dash domains do you actually have in your portfolio?
I probably have about 100 of them. I have, I think, like X-rated, like Mike was just saying. Some domains are.
Well, that makes sense. I can see that, but
I think I have like success.com with all dashes, so it's S-U. So again, on a billboard, it looks great. It's a pain in the ass to type in, But so I don't go for those. But one dash in a name like home-loan, I would take that domain in a heartbeat.
So it looks like for you they're mostly brandables, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I would say
I mean that makes a bit of sense, and I like the example that you gave. I thought that was good. But I got to be honest, I don't have any dashes in any of my names in my portfolio. I just have no interest. If I found one that was brandable, like Rick said or like Mike said, yeah, I'd probably pick it up, I'm sure. But I wouldn't go out of my way to spend thousands on a dash.
Well, I've never bought one in the aftermarket. These are all hand registered. I would never. I mean, at this point in time. That's what I do. I hand register them when no one thinks they have a value or they shouldn't have value. But maybe in another 5 or 10 years, with what's coming, it could have value.
So right now, is there anybody on the panel that would buy a dash domain on the aftermarket? Because I know I wouldn't.
I just looked, and I would, but in some specific situations. I just looked at what we have. We have 25 dash domains. I do. Most of them are geos like Winston-Salem or Tri-Cities, where in some ways the official city site does have a dash, so we don't mind owning the dash. To talk about Rick's one, the only ones we have there are like we have House Refi with a dash, Road Warrior, Search Auctions, and then the other ones we have are where it was unclear for a while whether it needed a dash or not. For a long time, New York Times and Wall Street Journal had ebook with a dash. And so we have a couple there. E-cigarettes is one where the dash seems to work. Sometimes we like an I name with the dash, like we have iCations. But traditionally, we're not buying them. Yeah, Adam, I don't think we pay a bunch on the aftermarket for it. But I think it's still a piece of inventory. But the derivative, so you have the value of the keyword without a dash, and the derivative, the line for the value of the word with the dash is way, way, way down there, where you're stuck with things like Rick said. I mean, I think I'd buy credit cards with the dash on the aftermarket.
Sure.
I think I'd buy insurance quotes on the aftermarket.
Here's the question.
Like just super, super duper. So
here's the question then. So now here's the fork in the road. Let's say you have homeloan.net available or home-loan.com. Now where's the balancing act? Or you can go further down the food chain. Where exactly would you say the home-loan.com, fits in? Does it get to the .org, the .info? Where does it? Where you say, okay, you know what? It's worth it just to have the .com.
Great question.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I think for the top ones, I'd rather have the dash, like for credit cards. Would I rather have creditcards.net or credit-cards.com? What do you guys think? I'd probably take the .net. But I'd rather have the dash with the .com above, I don't know, above the info? No, I'd probably take the info. So, yeah, I'd put it below the net and the info.
Mike?
I mean, I would take the net. I would do the dash with the .com above the info or the biz or pretty much any of the other ones. So that's what I would do. But I'm not big on it unless it's a word that naturally calls for the hyphen.
Right.
And that's the actual proper way of doing it.
Adam, do you agree with Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't touch any of these things. I didn't know there was much below the .info. except maybe .tel and .mobi and .xxx or whatever else there is. But I mean, .cc is also. I wouldn't buy a dash. I wouldn't be looking for them. If I came across home-loan, I'd probably buy it. But I mean, you're not going to find any of those right now. And I wouldn't. My advice to people that are setting up their portfolios for the first time is, I mean, don't spend your money and fill up with junk unless you think you can resell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, have like one. If you're going to buy 1,000 names, have one dash maybe. But it all comes from one SEO article written like in 2000, the year 2000. Someone put in one article that somehow they did some test that having the dash was actually got you more SEO benefit than without the dash because your term must be so good that you went and got the dash. And I think it was even in a real estate magazine. So when we do real estate names, there's a lot of people out there in the real estate business that were talked into this idea that they should get the dashes and that it was just as good, if not better. So there's some old SEO, internet one type stuff.
And it probably was from the days when search engines couldn't parse words completely, or they couldn't, they didn't have the vernacular or slang or whatever. All right, Mike, you brought up .co.uk. Nominet is now, I believe you're referring to the fact that Nominet, the registry that operates .co.uk, is going to be offering .uk instead of, or in addition to .co.uk. And were you saying that you think that .co.uk values are being depressed now?
Seems like. I mean, they haven't officially said they are going to offer it, but they're considering offering the .uk without the .co. Of course, there's a .net UK and a .org UK as well, so it's not just a .co.uk that would be affected. But I mean, I've seen names, just to go through the seeded list, if you will. I mean, meetings.co.uk that sold for 800 Great British pounds, which is what, $1.60 to $1, so maybe $1,200 for meetings. I mean, the equivalent, if you will, the best possible name in the country code for $800. Another name that sold in the last couple of days I saw was entertain.co.uk for $900.
Wow.
I mean, like crazy. I mean, consider medium.eu sold for 3,250 euros the same time frame. So, I mean, my understanding, again, I'm not a big in the space. I mean, I don't have any of those names, but there isn't just the CO, there's a .net, there's a .org, so the question becomes, if they do go to just the UK, then who gets it? And I'm told is it may be whichever name's the oldest may get it. So just because you have sort of the matching, .co.uk name, you may not get the UK. I mean, the guy who owns the org.uk may get it, or there may be some other process by which you get it, and not on automatic. I also saw DomainAuctions.co.uk just sold for 2,000 pounds, so maybe a little over $3,000. Also seems to be really low. So and it seems recent.
So who decides whether Nominet can offer a new top-level domain? Does that go to an ICANN panel for a decision?
No, they do.
They do.
Yeah, they do. Because it's a CCTLD, it's not a TLD. So it's basically they're in control of it, and they've opened it up for public opinion and comments for quite a while, and they at some point in time they're going to make a decision on it, and you assume they're going to go for the money. They did just sell a single letter once, last year, the year before. They collected quite a bit of money selling a single letter CO UKs, and now they're basically putting something out that's better, shorter, more valuable, and it doesn't seem quite right to me. But again, I don't have to think it again.
Yep, Mike Zeiger, the country's kind of pulled out of ICANN right about the time as the last new TLDs were given out, like in 2000, 2001. They used to be a constituency within, and then they were able to in essence, exit and get out. And so there was a sense that they would form their own group and their own ICANN, but Mike Berkens, I don't think there is an official organization even for them to do bottom-up decision-making or any of that stuff. They just kind of let that drop, didn't they? But
Yeah, I mean, Dominic runs the CCTLD, so it's their call at the end of the day. I did find, by the way, going through that list of names, I did find chewing-gum.com sold for 1,500 euros recently on Sudo. So there you go.
All right. Adam, what kind of stories do you got about retail customers?
Oh, this is going to be good. So I had 3 stupid calls today, and I figured I'd share them with the panel. One lady calls me on applepicking.com, and she says, hi, she says, where's the best place to get apples? I said, well, I get mine at the effing grocery store. And she's like, what? She thinks she's calling, I'm going to tell her where to pick apples. Another guy called me.
So how did you get your number? If you go to applepicking.com, is your phone number on there?
No, it's on the park page, and they just call so they can call me. It's like, yeah, okay, thanks. And then I had another one that I had fun with. The guy calls me and says it's about a classified ad site. And he says, hi, I'd like to list a blue Dodge for sale. And I said, I'm sorry, we're full up on blue cars. We can take black this week, but that's about it. And he's like, what do you mean? What? I said, well, if you're willing to paint the car, we can fit it in, but I'm sorry, we have enough blue cars. And I said, what did you plan on listing it at? And he said, about $15,000. I said, no, that's not going to work. Nobody buys a blue car for that kind of money. If it's black, we can list it for 15 or 16. The blue's got to be about 8. So I kept them busy for a little while. That one was pretty enjoyable.
Until he finally hung up on you?
No, they don't hang up, though.
I got bored with them.
You're going to help them, right, Adam?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
He thinks I'm joking. Eventually, I'm going to get to the real thing. And the last one was a guy called me for payday loan service, whatever it is, .ca. And he sends me this email saying, I need to get a $200 loan. So I call him back because I figure, all right, let's have some fun. I call him back, and I said, well, we can do the $200 loan. I said, but I'm going to need you to answer some questions. So he says, okay. I said, can I get your name? Yeah. Your address? Yeah. I said, and have you been arrested recently? No. Okay. And then I said things like, have you done anything that you're... And I asked him a bunch of ridiculous questions. At the end, I said, okay, I can do the loan. I said, how do you want it? What do you want it in denominations? He said, well, I guess 50s or 100. I said, well, I'm sorry, we can only do nickels. And he was quite shocked, and he said, well, okay, what can I come get it? And I said, sure, and then I hung up. So I didn't give him anywhere to go get it. And that was the end of him.
Do you guys own any payday, besides Adam's payday advance or cash advance or anything like that in .com or?
I think I do. I don't know what it is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, those are great domain names.
Does it get a lot of traffic?
Yeah. I mean, payday loans are the biggest thing around right now.
I think your guest the other day, Mr. Nagari, owns quite a few of those.
Yeah. How do those
Come out to Tennessee. Come out to Tennessee, Michael. I would say our town has 12,000 people, and we probably have 20 payday loans.
Wow.
They've actually bought the old bank buildings in many cases. So, yeah, payday.la.
We have the
LA. Who's got that one, Paige?
Nobody. Well, Paige is the only one that has .las. Eventually, he's going to come clean and tell us how many shares he's got in .la, I guess.
I did look up another .la before I got to his whiteboard one, but he owned it, so I couldn't do that one. He's got too good of a memory.
Yeah, but Paige is right.
You own stock in Central Nick, Paige?
What?
Did you buy any stock for Central Nick when it went public?
I didn't. And I don't have an ownership interest in the registry. I'm just a fan and an advocate.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to do. That area has gone up, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've got something new that we could talk about real quick. Trademark holders, they drive me crazy. I mean, they come after very generic terms. I know I wrote this morning about GoldCoast.com, which is, geographical area in lots of countries and cities and states, including Florida where we live. And they go file, UDRP trying to grab that name. Here's a UDRP that was just filed today. We can maybe play the same sort of game we play with the registered, not registered. The name is SonyStore.com. So when do you think that name was registered? I mean, the UDRP was filed today. Obviously, Sony was the company that filed it. And the name is SonyStore.com, spelled correctly. How old do you think that name is?
1995.
I'll go 2010.
The Sony Walkman was around in the 80s, so I'm going to go 97.
So when was it registered? I'll go 94.
It was registered 2001.
Yeah.
There actually are brick and mortar stores. There's one in Boca Mall, the Sony store.
Well, I got to confess something, Mike. When I first started in domain names, I owned DisneyStores.com, and eventually I gave it to them, but it made good money.
Okay. Well, this one's had a bunch of different owners, and it's been transferred over the years. And now it's what, 12 years later, and they filed a UDOP on it. That's sort of such a natural name. It's just kind of amazing that that's they sort of allowed to be out there.
So are the Sony stores owned and operated by Sony, or
Yeah.
by third parties that sell Sony products?
No, they're like Apple stores.
Oh.
Yeah, they have Sony products. There's one in Boca Mall. I'm sure there's other ones around the country.
See, that
So
one.
I have this. They're up here too.
That one would strike me as a trademark because it's a specific product. It's not like Sony discussions where you've got, you know, people discussing their Sony products and trying to figure out the right one or the right models or find the, you know, materials. Why do you?
Yeah,
think
no, I mean,
that
it's a bang on trademark. I can't believe it took them 13 years to go, well, you know, after it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what are you going to do in that case?
It's not my name.
Oh, it's not your name. I'm
You
sorry,
just
I
saw it.
It's not
misunderstood.
my name. I just saw it cross the wire. So.
Gotcha.
Here's a scoop for you, Mike, if you want to do an interesting story. There was a site, this is for, Michael. There was a site a while ago that used to list, it was called NoDaddy. Does anybody know about it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It was a site that listed all the employees, former GoDaddy employees used to go there and post all kinds of negative stuff, what really was going on the inside.
Right.
And miraculously, it got shut down just before the buyout.
Well, I thought GoDaddy actually bought it, and then they shut it
Yeah,
down.
I can't confirm that, but I have a feeling that may be the case.
Huh.
So there is some money to be made in setting up sites that actually talk about consumer complaints or issues.
Hey, the other story this week with this mad thing, do you guys have the Just Busted magazines where you are?
No. What are
So
those?
you go into a gas and sip here in beautiful Manchester, and one of the newspapers right there is called Just Busted, and it's mugshots of the people that got arrested in the 4 counties around here.
That's
You can just
terrible.
buy them and just look at these people.
I
Just
am-
busted.
I am fully aware of all those from my years in reputation work. There's a lot of other ones out there too.
Yeah, so crazy.
All
Unique
right, I got
content. It's unique content, right?
It is unique content, and they get it for free, and they can publish it, and people clearly buy it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be publishing it. All right, 2 questions from Willox Perez. Number 1, I noticed most of the time the Sherpas are able to know the value of a domain just based on the sound and brandability. But how important will the stats like Google searches, age, page rank, etc. be in the decision of buying a domain? Is that secondary stuff compared to how it sounds and brandability? What do you guys think?
I'll go. It may help you. Like, there was a name on our first show that was some type of medical procedure, and Adam knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was. But if by running the stats, I would have seen that it had, you know, a word that I didn't know had any heartbeat at all. I could see a heartbeat, then it would help me. And if I was selling it, I would probably try to accentuate it. So it's a tool, but it's never going to give you any money. I mean, you're not going to be able to sit there and say, well, this name has this estimate value. How much money does that put in my bank? And it will never do that.
But people do that every day on DN Forum. You know, I click on today's post just to see what's going on, you know, probably a few times a day. And in the for sale sections, people will start off saying, here's this domain.net. It's 17 years old. As if that, you know, imparts some sort of value to the domain.
Well, we do the same thing at Domain Outlet. I mean, we have a section for names that are older than 10 years. We have a section for names that are more than 1,000 in estimate. Because if that's your strategy and you're sticking to it, then we want to at least show you some stuff. But for me personally, I will use it as an indicator because I may not know the word, but it's never going to pay you any money.
Domain valuations by years and age is just old school. It's an old way of thinking. I don't think it has any merits anymore. I used to sell 2 products, and one was it was $1.99, and the other one I put the word premium on it, and it was like $4.99. Everyone bought the premium because they always wanted the best thing, but they were the exact same things, just the word premium was on the label. So interesting. I know Michael's laughing like, what the hell do you talk about that for? Anyway, while we're here, it's a product endorsement. Not for me, I don't own it or anything. This little thing called Gizmo, you plug it into your USB port, and it lights up when you get an email or MSN or Skype or anything. It lights up so you don't even have to wake anybody up if your computer's in your bedroom. So Not that mine is, but it's a pretty cool thing, actually.
So you plug it into your PC, and then you take that gizmo into, like, the living room, and it lights up every time you get an email?
Yeah, I guess. It says, I haven't unwrapped it yet, but it's not big. It's the size of a mouse. It's like, here's my hand, so you can see. I'm covering them. It's not like giant, but it's pretty neat, and it's got. I got to try it. I just got it in the mail today, but it works with Windows and Mac. And they sell them online for like $40 or $30. I found them for like $13. So
I'm trying to remove all that crap from my life so I don't get buzzed and pinged and sounded every time something's going on.
It's better to have all the crap. People come in, they don't understand what's here. And
it's a lot of work to turn off Google notifications and Twitter buzzes and.
Well, I got to be honest. Getting ready for these meetings is no joy either. I got to unplug this phone, unplug that phone, turn off my cell phone, turn off Skype, turn off my email. I pretty much got undressed for this thing.
Well, please don't go all the way.
And half the time, sorry, when I forget after the meeting's over and I go and I have dinner or something, I come back, I forget to plug my phone line in, and I wonder why nobody's calling me.
Now, if I could have it, if email said your premium listing just sold, then I'd like to have one that rang around and rung the bell.
Well, yeah,
if ding, 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 ding.
That thing lit up and buzzed every time you got a sale. That would be fine.
Well, maybe we could hook it up to Frank's iPhone app or something, so it buzzes her. Who knows? That's pretty cool, actually.
It'll go off every 5 seconds.
It also says it puts something on your computer screen, and it also turns colors, and you know what it is. So it's pretty cool. I'm gonna try it. I'll probably get mad and throw it out in a week, but I'll try it.
All right, we'll expect a report out at Traffic.
Well, okay.
What do you got going on trends? Why do you think that people are building more websites lately?
So if you look at the web.com ads that are out there, we'll build a website for you. We'll build a website for you. And you look at WordPress.com and you look for the number of sites that are using WordPress to build multiple sites. And by the way, if you're watching this show and you know how to do multiple sites on WordPress, I need some help, so contact me. I just think more people are building their own website, taking control of their own content, and we just have more people out there, more customers, that are going to then realize I want to be branded better, I want to be prestigious, I just want to be bad to the bone, I just want to be able to brag about my name. It's coming toward us, and it happens a lot slower than you think. We'd like to think in 2002, everyone's going to have a great domain name by 2003. But we're starting to get people. They need to have a site. So I just think there are some big trends that are still coming in our direction in terms of the whole mass of the people out there. A friend of mine just spoke at a WordPress camp type thing and did a thing on domain names. And just saying you can buy an existing domain name is still very new to a lot of people with money that still just haven't come to grips with that idea. So I think we still have the trend is your friend in those areas.
Hey, Paige,
you have models to copy now. You have models to copy now that you didn't have before. You have successes to copy now that you didn't have before. I mean, that's what it's all about. One guy opens up something, he's successful, and the next thing you know, 300 guys copy of him because that's the way of the world. That's the way it always happens.
Hey, Paige.
Yeah.
Send me over a list of sites you want done, and I'll do them for you for nothing, buddy.
Man, you're a stud.
But do me a favor. Let me clean up that marketplace and redo that for you for free, too.
Hey, I own stud.com. I'm on a royalty.
Paige, anything, I'll take care of it for you anytime.
Hey, Adam, you had a post a couple years ago about a company that would manage your DNS and do a domain store and do all that stuff. I think they were an English company. Did you ever keep going with them or still use them, or do you remember that?
I don't remember it. I barely remember what I watched on TV yesterday. So no, and I'm sure I would remember it if I used them. As far as I'm concerned, they're probably dead by now. Who knows?
Yes.
I found bigger and better tools over the last couple of years. Now we're mass-producing multiple WordPress sites, so I'll gladly do whatever you need. I can clone them if we want to, whatever you want if they're lead gen sites.
All right, I want to talk about GTLD SmackDown. I want to talk about the
Thanks,
Broncos.
Adam.
Broncos.com is for sale at the Traffic auction. Lots of sports teams out there. I would be worried about plunking down 6 figures on a domain name that might be a trademark issue. Why shouldn't people be worried about that, Rick?
I can take that. I mean,
Adam.
The bottom line is, if you don't, I mean, there's lots of different Broncos that are out there. It's not specifically the Denver Broncos. So as long as you're not going to target football or anything to do with the Denver Broncos or the NFL, you should be pretty safe. You don't have to look too far to look at Cowboys.com. which would be a trademark, but it's a gay dating site because I want to avoid all trademarks. And what I tend to do in general is with names like acronyms and things I'm not sure of, I just forward them to the front page of DN Forum and I forget about them. Then I know there's no trademark issues. But I think there's a way they can certainly avoid the trademark issues. And obviously, eventually, the Denver Broncos are going to want that name. And it's a good name. It's a great name. I wouldn't avoid it personally, especially since you'll probably end up paying more for Broncos.com than you would to take over Eli Manning's contract.
What does everybody else think?
What about current use?
Current use is a discussion forum, so I think they've got different rooms for major and college sports teams named Broncos.
Yeah, but they also have, Denver Bronco tickets, Denver Bronco football, Peyton Manning jerseys, Bronco merchandise.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's just asking for trouble.
It's got the colors of the Broncos, too. It's got the orange and blue.
Rick, I would tell them to change that because that's just stupid.
I haven't even been to the site, so that's the first time
Maybe they already got a letter. Who knows?
But why wouldn't they be able to sell, if they own it, if somebody owns it, I'm not pointing to this person individually, but let's say that I want to have a discussion forum on Broncos.com and I want to allow anybody and everybody who loves Broncos to discuss it, and I'm going to sell whatever any of those teams have for sale. Aftermarket through eBay listings or tickets to college games or whatever. Why shouldn't I be able to list all of them?
I think Mike Berkens probably knows a lot more than I do about this, but I don't think we've established what fair use is, Mike Seiger. Yeah. So it's going to take 20 years for fair use to come and be reasonable, and until then, you've just got UDRP. And so to be the one person that's going to take on what's fair use, I just think it's way too early for that decision to be made. Yeah. But Mike Berkens, what do you think?
Well, I'm just looking at the site. I mean, I hit, there's a bunch of links underneath the title, the Broncos Fan Forum. If I hit Pro Shops, it redirects to DenverBroncos.com. If I hit, tickets, it's all about Denver Broncos. It doesn't give me any other teams. Schedule, it's the Denver Broncos schedule. News, photos. I mean, it's troublesome. I mean, the Marlins.com, I think it was, that Marchex had that they basically lost in the UDRP because it had, stuff all about the Marlins and the team colors, and it was more traditional park page. But it would be concerning. I mean, it has team info, has all of the players on the team. So although there are other teams that do have Broncos, it seems highly concentrated on the Denver team.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
Certainly, you could take it. You could do. You could have a horse site, I guess, or something to deal with horses, and and use the name. But I'm not. I mean, there's ways of avoiding the trademark issue. You got to be really careful.
Yeah.
With that type of name, though.
And you can also, I mean, if you want to, you can obtain permission from the team to use the site to sell merchandise and promote their site. I've done that before with, who the hell was it? Nickelodeon. I had SpongeBobSquarePants.com, and they gave me permission to use it as an affiliate for their site. So I wasn't taking away from their brand. I was adding to it. So if you've got a good lawyer, you can negotiate to use it for what they want to use it for. But
maybe they got that. Maybe they have.
Well, I remember in 2002. I don't want to lose my headset. I was at a basketball game in Seattle with Howard Schultz, the Starbucks guy. Took us out there. We met everybody, and we were sitting in the owner's box. And some guy I know it was, but I won't say, was bragging because he owned Denver Nuggets.com, and he bragged to everybody in the box. And I think within 6 months he got a C&D, and that was the end of it.
So I guess I want to speak to that. It's so compelling when you see the new TLDs come out, like .co, and even this little GoDaddy effort they did on .la. If you look at what everyone started registering, they started registering the Dodgers, the Lakers, and I think there's this emotional pull for people in our space that you want to be able to own something that someone else has to come to you for, because you want to just have that powerful position where they have to come to me. They're going to call me and they're going to get down on their hands and knees and beg for that name or pay whatever I want. And I think people see domain names trademark domain names as a way to do that. You know what I mean? They're going to have to come to me. And then they rationalize it with, well, even though I'm kind of a little dangerous ground here, they're still just going to, I'll just tell them I'll sell it for less. Instead of $1 million, I'll just tell them I'll take 100,000. And they kind of rationalize that. But really, it isn't going to work. And they're going to come in with guns blazing. They're going to go UDRP and what you do with the site. So if you say you didn't do anything wrong, they're going to go UDRP. And if you don't put anything up there, and they're still going to say, what did you ever do? So I just think it's appealing, especially with new TLDs, where you can get these big TMs, but you just have to resist it.
Are you trying to tell me, Paige, that my SandraBullock.com, she's not going to come to me, I'm going to meet her, we're going on a date? Holy crap.
Well, listen, as a matter of fact, now I forgot his name. Okay, I had a mental fart. TerryBradshaw.com. We put up a page to Terry Bradshaw, I guess over the summer or maybe last spring, and finally they bit yesterday, and Terry Bradshaw came and he wants his domain finally after, I think I've had it since the 1990s sometime, waiting for him to come and claim his domain name, and yesterday was the day.
So it is worth waiting.
They have to come because, you know, first of all, there's a lot of Terry Bradshaws in the world, number one, so it's very common, but there's only one famous Terry Bradshaw, and so he gets it.
Well, we launched a TLD called .golf way back when, and don't laugh. You think LA's bad. We were with new.net at the time, and we were managing .golf. And we said, we're going to give out the 100 top trademarks to the 100 top golf companies. And we got on the phone with one of the major golf companies, and we left the phone call with this. You can't give it to me, and you can't give it to anyone else. And it was like just trying to, understand and get involved in that world. It's just not what you think.
I think my wife said those same things to me.
Touche. We're moving on to the SmackDown. Rick, who is going to be on your team going up against Frank Schilling?
Well, first of all, I don't know who's on my team, but I know Frank has Monty on his team. And I wouldn't say anything to you guys that I wouldn't say in front of Monty because I always tell him the same thing. So Monty has hoarded every single extension that has ever come out, okay? All right? There's no question about it. You can list every single one, and Monty's been on board as a fan cheerleader for everyone. So I love Monty. So he definitely deserves to be on the panel, and he'll join Frank and then the principals from .club, and they'll be joined by one other person that I'm talking to, and I'll find one person that maybe wants to come up on stage with me and take them on, but. Adam,
you're only going to have two people. You're only going to have 2 people against 4?
Huh?
But you guys, it can't be from the registry perspective. It's got to be someone who's in favor of new TLDs from a I'm buying them perspective, not from a I want to own a registry perspective.
Well, I want to make money. You know what? That is the disconnect that everyone seems to miss. You know, it's different from whether a registry has a success and whether as a domain investor you have a success. And everyone keeps trying to mix the oil and water together, and it's oil and water. It's 2 different questions. I mean, there's no question Frank's going to be successful in what he does. That's a given, okay? It's just a matter of if one of us buys one of those domain names and we put out 50 or 100 grand, are we going to get the money back and more? I mean, and all I can do is go by, well, I put a couple of $100 grand in .xxx. I didn't get that back. I put money in .co. I can't say I got that back. I put in a few $100 grand in .mobi. I didn't get that back. I put money in probably every single TLD that Monty tried to whore. Because I went with a program, and when this is what you do, you go and you spread it around. It's like going through a casino. You throw a few dollars on this machine, a few dollars on that table. You play roulette. It's what you do. So it's what we do. But I must say, for the $1 million that I've spent or invested on all those games, I didn't get a single return yet, other than meet.me, which was.
Rick, I'm ready for battle.
All right,
Hey,
Rick, Adam is saying he wants to go on your side. Mike Berkens, you're saying you
Weblo.
want to talk about...
Yeah, Weblow's a good one.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, the 60 grand on Weblo.
I think I own three or four states still.
I think I've got Montana. I'm Montana, baby.
I don't know how to get my money in.
I don't even know how to log in anymore, I don't think, but I'm a mayor of like 128 towns and 41 states. I should be doing great.
And what is that extension?
No, it's just Weblo.com.
Oh, Weblo, yeah.
Before your time, Mike, you were still making money while we were wasting it.
I was in diapers still back then. Mike Berkens, you were saying that Meet Me, that was a good investment.
Yeah, I was going to actually say, I'm going to circle back around to, if you have anything to chat about or sell or promote. I'll just say that if, because Rick brought it up, to the extent that, domainers maybe are now seeing, or people in the industry are seeing, that the registry side, which is completely different to play than a domain registrant side, which I've always said going back 4 years now. And maybe they think, well, that's, I kind of regret not being involved from the registry side. There are some registries that are looking for some additional financing for ICANN auctions or private auctions. So there's still a few opportunities out there. People really, obviously it's a six-figure or more investment, but there is still a chance to get involved with some of these new GTLD registries. And if you do have interest and do have the money, give me a shout out, and we can go through all of that.
Michael?
Yes, sir.
Can you still put in applications for new ones?
No.
Is there going to be another round when you can?
They say there will be. It certainly won't be before 2015, maybe 2015-16.
Can you do me a favor and put me on a list to talk to you and speak to me around then?
Sure. Just send over a few 100,000. I'll put you on the reserve list.
I'm already ready. I got something I want.
All right. Very good.
All right.
All right.
Maybe you'll announce it at Traffic.
That would be a good topic for a future show. How many applications do we think will be put in the next round? There were 1,900 in this round.
Yeah.
Just wait for one of them to go under and buy it, and then change the TLD.
Yeah, I don't think you can change the TLD. Can't change the TLD.
I have a really good one that I know will make
They'll let you.
a shitload of money, and I want to get it going.
Okay. Well,
like
if anybody else
educational
has
domain
interest
names
in this money,
page, you have to be a registered educational institution with the United States, but once you own it, you can sell it.
Hey, there's no absolutes when you deal with ICANN.
You can sell the institution. I'm not sure I got to get somebody that does educational domain names to come on the show. So if you have
the next topic is education.
What was that?
The next
there
topic
you
is
go.
education.
I know. Well, maybe a .edu will come up for sale. So
Hey, Mike, are we submitting our own names? Are we submitting our own
I have one I'm
education
putting in.
yeah, if you have one, it's going to be on the page when this video goes live. Look for the button that says "Submit your educational domain here," and there'll be a little box. So yeah,
I
submit your
want
domain.
to see these guys hammer one of my names.
I want to hammer one of yours.
I'm not hammering anything at pages.
All right, and with that, we are closing out this Domain Sherpa Review after show. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for being on, guys.
Ciao.
See y'all.
See you, Trev.